I left the broken mirrors and the stench of neon smoke behind me. The further I walked down the corridor, the more the architecture changed. The sharp, jagged stone of the outer hallways smoothed out. The floorboards stopped creaking and were replaced by thick, plush runners that swallowed the sound of my footsteps. The air grew warmer. It didn't smell like a crime scene anymore. It smelled like beeswax, old leather, and vanilla pipe tobacco. It smelled like a memory you can't quite place, but ache to return to. I reached the double doors of the great hall. They weren't locked. They were never locked. They were slightly ajar, leaking a soft golden light into the gloom. I pushed them open. The room was magnificent. It was a cathedral dedicated to the good old days. The walls were lined with trophies, my old victories. The bookshelves were full of finished journals, the spines unbroken and gleaming. In the center of the room, a fire was crackling. But unlike the dead hearth in my study, this fire burned with a steady, hypnotic rhythm. But the light wasn't orange. It was sepia. Everything in the room was bathed in it, a rich, filtered rose gold hue that softened the edges of reality. It was like stepping inside a photograph from 20 years ago. The high contrast of my noir world dissolved here. There were no deep blacks, no blinding whites, just soft, forgiving browns and golds.
Hello, stranger.
A voice purred. She was standing by the fireplace, her back to me, looking at a framed certificate on the mantelpiece. The dame, Nostalgia. She turned slowly, the movement liquid and graceful. She was beautiful in that heartbreaking way that old songs are beautiful. She wore a dress that shimmered with that same rose gold light, catching the fire and throwing it back as a warm haze.
You look terrible.
She said softly, walking toward me. She didn't walk. She floated.
Rough night on the streets?
I'm working a case, I said. My voice felt too loud in this velvet room, too gritty. I'm looking for the fire, the real one. She laughed, a sound like champagne being poured into crystal.
Why look for fire when you have warmth right here? You're always chasing something, aren't you? Always hunting. Always fighting.
She reached out and took my hand. Her skin was impossibly warm. It sent a jolt of relaxation up my arm, loosening the tension in my shoulder. It was a physical sedative.
Come.
She whispered, pulling me gently toward the center of the room.
Sit down. You've done enough.
There were two wingback chairs positioned perfectly in front of the sepia hearth. They were deep, tufted velvet. They looked like they could swallow a man whole. I can't, I said, but I didn't pull my hand away. I have to go to the boiler room. I have to restart the engine.
The boiler room?
She wrinkled her nose, a playful expression that reminded me of younger, easier years.
It's dirty down there. It's cold. It's full of heavy iron and soot. Why would you go there when you've already built this?
She gestured to the walls. The rose gold light flared on the trophies. I saw the awards. I saw the finished projects. I saw the proof that I was good.
Look at what you did.
She said, tracing a finger along the rim of a golden cup.
You were brilliant. You were the best. Why do you need to prove it again? Who are you fighting for?
I'm not fighting for them, I said, but my resolve was melting like wax. I'm fighting for me, to keep going.
But you're tired.
She soothed. She pushed me gently by the chest. My knees hit the edge of the chair. It was instinct. I sat down. God, it was soft. The cushions wrapped around me, supporting my tired back, cradling my aching limbs. It felt like sinking into a warm bath after a week in the trenches. The sepia light seemed to thicken, filling my eyes, blurring my vision. The harsh lines of the world faded. The problems of the present, the dead fire, the blank page, the guilt, felt miles away.
There.
She said, handing me a glass of amber liquid. It glowed with that rose gold hue.
Drink. Remember 2018? Remember that project? That was a good year. We can just stay in that year. We don't have to leave.
I took the glass. The liquid smelled of autumn leaves and victory. It was a good year, I murmured. The noir grit was leaving my voice. I sounded sleepy. I sounded content. This was the trap. The femme fatale doesn't kill you with a gun. She kills you with a pillow. She doesn't steal your life, she pauses it. She traps you in a museum of your own history, forcing you to polish old trophies until you starve to death. I watched the fire. It was beautiful. It demanded nothing of me. It didn't ask for fuel. It just burned, a loop of a memory of a fire.
Stay,
She whispered, leaning over the back of my chair. Her hair brushed my cheek.
The storm is outside. It's ugly out there. Here, everything is finished. Everything is perfect.
I closed my eyes. The sepia darkness was warm. I could sleep here. I could just close my eyes for a minute, maybe an hour, maybe a decade. I could become just another artifact in this room, a statue of a writer who used to be great. Clack. The sound was sharp, distant, but sharp. It was the window, a shutter banging against the frame. I opened one eye. Across the room, beyond the sepia haze of the firelight, there was a tall, narrow window. The heavy velvet drapes had parted slightly. Through the crack, I saw it. Reality. It wasn't gold. It wasn't soft. It was harsh white. It was a blizzard. The snow was driving sideways, slamming against the glass with violent, indifferent force. It looked freezing. It looked painful. It looked alive. The contrast was blinding. That sliver of harsh white cut through the rose gold room like a razor blade through silk. I looked at the glass in my hand. The amber liquid didn't look like victory anymore. It looked like formaldehyde, preservative fluid.
Close the drapes.
The dame said quickly, her voice sharpening. She moved to block my view.
Don't look at that. It's just noise. It's just chaos.
No, I said. The word was quiet, but it broke the spell. The chair didn't feel comfortable anymore. It felt like quicksand. I gripped the armrests. My knuckles turned white, the honest bone white of tension. I don't live in a museum, I said. I pushed myself up. It was a struggle. The gravity of the room was immense, pulling me back down, begging me to be lazy, begging me to be satisfied with what I had already done.
Sit down.
She hissed. Her face wasn't beautiful anymore. It was desperate. The sepia filter flickered, revealing the cracks in the plaster, the dust on the velvet.
You're a fool. You're going out into the cold for nothing. You have everything here.
I have memories here, I said, standing tall. I dropped the glass. It hit the floor. It didn't shatter. It bounced. It was plastic, a prop. The illusion wavered. Memories don't burn, I said. You can't warm your hands on a reflection. I looked at her. She was fading. She was just a ghost of who I used to be. You were great, I told her, and my voice was back. The gravel, the iron, the noir. But you're dead, and I'm not. I turned my back on the fake fire. I walked toward the heavy oak door at the far end of the hall, the one that led down to the basement.
If you leave,
She screamed, her voice distorting.
you'll have to start over. You'll be a nobody again. It hurts out there.
I know, I said. I put my hand on the latch. The metal was freezing cold. It stung my palm. It felt real. I looked back one last time. The rose gold light was dimming, consumed by the shadows. The great hall looked small now, just a dusty room full of old things. Keep the trophies, I said. I'm going to make something new. I opened the door. A blast of cold air hit me in the face, smelling of coal dust, grease, and ozone. The smell of work. The smell of the boiler room. I stepped through, slamming the door on the warmth, the comfort, and the lie. The sepia was gone. The harsh white of the truth and the deep black of the unknown swallowed me whole. I had survived the seduction. Now came the violence.